Imagine you divorce someone, move on, then go back to the same person, marry them again, and then divorce them again. Now imagine doing all of that while becoming the richest man on Earth. That's not a movie, that's Elon Musk. A man known for building rockets, electric cars, and billion-dollar companies, but living a personal life just as unpredictable as his business decisions. And what makes this story even more fascinating is that most people don't even know the full story behind his marriages, because unlike Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, whose divorces were single massive events, Elon Musk's story is layered. Multiple marriages, multiple divorces, and one relationship that refused to end until it did, twice.
You know, my ex-husband, or as I sometimes like to think of him, my baby daddy, is the visionary Elon Musk of Tesla and SpaceX.
To understand this, we have to go back to a time before the billions. Before Tesla dominated the roads. Before SpaceX changed the future of space travel. Before Elon Musk became one of the most powerful men in the world. Back to the late 1990s. At that time, Elon Musk was not the Elon Musk we know today. He was just another ambitious young entrepreneur trying to build something in the early days of the internet. It was during this time that he met Justine Wilson, a Canadian author. Their story didn't begin with wealth or fame. It began like many others, as students, building a connection in a world where Elon Musk had no guarantee of success. In the year 2000, they got married. At that moment, Musk was not yet a billionaire. He was still chasing something bigger. Shortly after their marriage, Musk co-founded a company that would later become PayPal. When PayPal was sold to eBay for $1.5 billion, Musk walked away with around $180 million. For most people, that's where the story would end. Financial freedom, a comfortable life, no more risk. But Elon Musk is not most people. Instead of securing his future, he took nearly everything he had and reinvested it into Tesla, into SpaceX, two companies that many believed would fail, and for a while, it almost did. There were moments when Musk was close to losing everything, moments when both companies were struggling, moments when the pressure was not just financial, but personal, because while he was building companies that would later change the world, his personal life was beginning to crack. Elon Musk and Justine built a family together. They had children. They built a life, but building a global empire is not something that happens quietly. It demands everything: time, energy, focus, and sometimes it takes more than it gives. In 2008, after 8 years of marriage, Elon Musk and Justine Wilson divorced. At the time, Musk was already wealthy, but nowhere near the level he would later reach. The settlement was significant. Reports suggest Justine received around $20 million. Along with a house in Los Angeles and financial support. Compared to the massive divorces of other billionaires, it might not seem extreme, but it marked something important: the first major shift in Elon Musk's personal life. And what came next was even more unexpected. Not long after his divorce, Elon Musk entered a new relationship. This time with British actress Tallulah Riley. Their relationship moved fast. In 2010, they got married. At that point, Musk's life was accelerating. Tesla was gaining attention, SpaceX was achieving milestones, and Musk himself was becoming one of the most talked about entrepreneurs in the world. Everything seemed to be rising: his companies, his reputation, his influence. But then, just 2 years later, the marriage ended. In 2012, Musk filed for divorce. Tallulah Riley reportedly received around $4 million, and for most people, that would be the end of the story. But this is where Elon Musk's story becomes something different, because after the divorce, they went back to each other, and in 2013, they got married again. The same two people, the same relationship, a second marriage. Now think about that. In a world where most relationships end once and stay ended, this one restarted. But restarting something doesn't always fix it. And once again, the relationship didn't last. In 2016, Elon Musk and Tallulah Riley divorced again. This time the settlement was larger, around $16 million. So within just a few years, Elon Musk had married, divorced, married again, and divorced again with the same person. And that is something almost no one talks about, because while the world was watching him build Tesla and SpaceX, his personal life was moving through cycles that were just as intense, just as unpredictable, and just as fast. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. All of these events happened before Elon Musk reached his peak wealth, before he became the richest man on Earth, before his fortune crossed $300 billion, which means something very important. If these divorces had happened later, the numbers would have been completely different, because at that level of wealth, even a small percentage becomes massive. Imagine this, at a net worth of $300 billion, even a 10% settlement would be $30 billion. That alone would place someone among the richest people on Earth. And when you convert that into real-world luxury, it becomes almost impossible to imagine. That kind of money could buy entire islands, fleets of private jets, hundreds of luxury mansions, and assets across the most expensive cities in the world. But Elon Musk's story didn't unfold that way. His divorces happened before the explosion of his fortune, before the world fully realized what Tesla and SpaceX would become. And that timing changed everything. But beyond the money, there is something deeper in this story, because Elon Musk's personal life reflects something we often ignore when talking about billionaires: the cost of extreme ambition. Building companies like Tesla and SpaceX is not normal. It requires a level of obsession that most people cannot maintain, a level of focus that often leaves little room for stability. And in Musk's case, that intensity showed not just in his business decisions, but in his relationships. Because while he was pushing humanity forward, his personal life was struggling to keep up. And that creates a powerful contrast. On one side, a man building the future. On the other, a man navigating relationships that didn't follow a straight path. Multiple marriages, multiple endings, one relationship that restarted and ended again. And when you place his story alongside Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, you start to see something interesting. Bezos, one massive divorce that changed wealth rankings. Gates, a settlement worth tens of billions. Musk, a completely different story. Not about one event, but about a pattern, a cycle. A life moving so fast that even relationships couldn't stay consistent. And maybe that's what makes Elon Musk's story the most fascinating of them all. Because it's not just about money, it's about timing, it's about ambition, it's about what happens when a life is moving faster than everything around it. And in the world of billionaires, that might be the most important story of all. If you like this Elon Musk story, make sure you hit that like button. And I want to ask you something. Would you ever go back to your divorced wife? Someone you already moved on from, marry her again, and then divorce her again? Think about that for a second, because Elon Musk actually lived that story, not once, but twice with the same person. And honestly, that's something very few people in the world would ever do. So let me know in the comments, what would you do in that situation? Would you go back, or would you never look back again? And if you enjoy these kinds of stories about billionaires, luxury lifestyles, and the real life behind the money, then make sure you subscribe to Loyal Luxury, because this is just the beginning. And in the next video, we're going to break down another controversial story, the divorce of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, yet where a Hollywood love story turned into a long and emotional legal battle over 6 children, a famous French winery, and a decision that changed everything. This wasn't just a separation, it became one of the most talked about breakups in the world.